Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Nyorangi. I'm the co-founder and president of ICARE Sustainably International. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this first preliminary meeting of the ICARE Ambassadorship Program. It's wonderful to see participants joining us from various countries, united by a common purpose. Your diverse perspectives and experiences are invaluable as we embark on this journey together. Over the past weeks, our teams have been diligently refining their goals and strategies to drive meaningful change. Today, we are going to dive into the inspiring projects and explore how each of us can support the incredible efforts. Thank you for being here and for your commitment to making positive change. Let's make this session productive, engaging as we work towards a sustainable future together. Welcome once again. Let's get started. And we are recording this meeting, so it's important to let you know that I'm recording so that I don't breach your privacy. Edith?
Hi everybody. Sorry, my internet is a bit slow, so you'd forgive me if at some point my computer freezes. Otherwise, I hope everybody's fine. My name is Edith Ogalo from Kenya. I am representing our team leader, who is Andy from Mexico. She's not able to join, I think, because of maybe it's early in the morning for her in Mexico, so she's not able to be here. I want to try and share my screen quickly, and so that you're able to see what we've been working on. Yeah, so in team 2, we've been we are a team of around 9 participants from different countries. And we had our brainstorming meeting on 3rd of June, and we decided to select a topic. And our project is basically aiming at creating a database of climate change impacts, mitigation, and adaptation strategies that different countries are trying to put into place. The main objective of us coming up with that storytelling database is basically to be able to share different experiences from different communities. We realize that we come from different countries, and experiences from Kenya, for instance, and may be different from experiences from Mexico and from Ghana or from Zimbabwe. So we thought that if we could come up with like a database where we could be able to share these impacts in terms of what kind of impacts are people facing when you talk about climate change in Kenya or in Mexico or in Ghana, so that people are able to see what is happening in different countries and also be able to take to learn from each other in terms of what works, for example, in Kenya that can be replicated in other countries. So that is basically our objective. Looking into now the specific objectives, we are creating this database, as I said earlier, to just create an awareness of the different impacts of climate change, and also to create an awareness of like the actions or the solutions that people are taking at community-based levels that we can be able to replicate in other countries, and also to help in terms of responding to the impacts of climate change. So we have designed our project in phases, and we are looking at completing this work in around 20 weeks. And so the first phase of our project is basically the planning phase. That is what we are in right now. We have been basically just planning. And then the second phase will be the development of what exactly we want to do, and putting that into practice, that is implementing it. And then the third phase will be to diffuse the project, and then the last phase will be project closure. So looking at where we are right now, we are basically in the planning phase, as I mentioned earlier. And in the planning phase, we are basically doing project definition. We are trying to define what is it, what exactly that we want to do as a team. And the other thing we are looking into is selecting our team leaders and organizing ourselves. And then the other thing we are doing in this planning stage is organizing meetings. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Ah, okay, okay. I could hear some noise in the background. So, in the planning stage, as I mentioned, we were basically trying to define our project, trying to help us ourselves understand what exactly we want to do, selecting the leader and organizing ourselves as a team, and then organizing how often we're going to be meeting to be able to have this project moving forward. So that is what we have been doing in May, and we also have developed what we want to do every month, so that at least by the time the month ends, we are able to have like a report to give forward. So I don't want to go through everything. This document will be shared. You can see what we want to do in June, for example, is to prepare the cover note for the project, describe exactly what you want to do, identify our training needs, our strengths and weaknesses, and so on. So we have done that every month, so that every month we look at what is it that we have done, where are we at, and what kind of help do we need even from our mentors. So I want to run quickly to what we have been able to achieve so far. So far, what we have been able to achieve is to define the line of action. For example, we already know what we want to do. We already know how we want to approach it. And I think we are also giving time for all the members of our team to get to familiarize, because we have some members who joined us late. So we are giving them also time to familiarize with the project, and also that we are able to move on as a team. The next thing we have been able to achieve is to select our team leader. Our team leader is Andy from Mexico. She's not here right now, but at least now we have a team, somebody who's able to help us move forward. And the other thing we've been able to achieve is organize our first meeting. We met, as I said earlier, on third, and we came up with this project. So we have been able to meet, and our next meeting is actually happening next week on Monday. That meeting will be able to help us organize ourselves in terms of how frequent do we want to meet, because we realize it's not easy to work on WhatsApp. It's good if we can be able to meet, like have meetings, virtual meetings, where we can be able to bring all our thoughts together, and then see how we can be able to execute this project. The other thing we have been able to achieve is to prepare a cover note for the project, which includes the description of the project itself, the objectives, and the workplaces, as I have described up there. You've seen, like, every month we have a target we want to achieve on a monthly basis, so that we know whether we are able to, like, execute this project in the 20 weeks that we have. And then the other things we have been able to achieve is to identify our training needs. We already have, like, questions we have come up with that we want our mentors to help us with, in terms of, where we're having shortcomings and where we're having weaknesses. So in terms of challenges that we are having, the main challenge is actually working in different time zones. We have people from different countries, and that has been a challenge, especially when when we organize our first virtual meetings. We realize people could not join because it is night in other countries, it is daytime in other countries, and so we are still trying to look at how can we, like, work and execute this project, bearing in mind everybody is working in different time zones. So maybe we will also have, we would like to put this also forward, even for our mentors, to help us in terms of how do we come together as a team and execute this project, bearing in mind that it's not easy to work on WhatsApp. We need to meet virtually, and we need to have this work done. The other thing that we see as a challenge again is the remote project implementation, because we want to develop a database of stories, but again, these stories are going to be picked from different countries, and so we are having a challenge in terms of how do we identify our project location, where everybody is going to be able to fully, participate. We don't want a project where it is just based in, like, one country. For example, we want to try and have multiple countries, but then now this means when people are working in different countries, it is a bit difficult. So we would also want help to know how can we execute this project, how can we create this database of stories from different countries, bearing in mind that not all of us are coming from those particular countries. So that is again a challenge that we want to pose to our mentors to help us in. So moving forward in the next few months, we are of course scheduling different virtual meetings beginning next week Monday to try and organize ourselves, and we are hoping that moving forward with the help of the mentors, we're going to be able to succeed in this project and execute it in the next few months. So thank you so much for the opportunity to present on behalf of Andy. If there is any more questions regarding our project, I would be happy to answer, but until then, I would want to end it there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Edith. One other thing that I admired about this team is that they were able to take stock of their strengths and weaknesses within the team. They were able to take stock of each of the expertise of each and every member, which was quite commendable, by doing the SWOT analysis for the team. So thank you so much for that presentation. The next person I go to is Jeremiah. Jeremiah is here, I guess. You are supposed to be the first presenter. So if you can unmute yourself very quickly and present what you guys have done so far.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Jeremiah from Nigeria. I'm representing Group 1. First of all, I want to tender my own reserved apology for some of the lapses that has actually taken place. I actually had to fill in this space for my team lead just this morning. And although there's been a couple of issues we've had in the group, which is the issue of trying to get a convenient time to meet as a team. And also our team lead has also had his own personal challenges as well. Not until this morning I was asked to take his place. For the group, we've been able to come up with a project topic, and the only challenge we have is for the group to come together to be able to discuss on it and be able to come up with a final document. We've been due to different issues from different team members, we've not been able to meet. And there was a time, I think last week when we were supposed to meet, the team lead was also having his own personal issues and we're not able to convene. But however, I want to quickly plead with the House to please give us a little bit of time, because I've been able to reach out to a few members of the group this morning, and we've been able to highlight some of the challenges and why we should, and also we've been able to see how we can move forward irrespective of individual differences as well and individual issues and challenges. So I would plead with the House to please forgive us this once, and we promise by the next time we're meeting, we're going to have so much we're giving. And also we take full responsibility. I am also taking ownership for every inconveniences, and apologize on behalf of my group. And I promise the next time we're meeting, there'll be something very concrete that we have to present. Apologies, and I'm so sorry about it, please.
Oh, sorry, Jeremiah. Before you go, I wanted to ask if you are able to give us a few, or just a brief overview of your project, the goals, just a very short description of the project without even getting into the details.
Okay. Basically, what we are trying to look at is the topic of our project is enhancing community outreach and resource mobilization strategies for sustainable development. And basically, what we're trying to look at in the project is how we can be able to enhance community outreach efforts at promoting sustainable development in coastal areas. And my team, when I engaged my team lead on this, and he was also trying to expatiate on the fact that some of the objective was trying to make me realize the fact that how we can be able to increase community engagement and participation in sustainable development initiatives. So we want to see how we can be able to have communities take ownership how communities can increase their participation level regards to sustainable development initiatives, and also we want to see how we can empower local leaders in the communities as well to also drive community-based development, especially the youths, and also we want to see how we can improve knowledge sharing, capacity building among community leaders and members, as well as community-based organizations in order to strengthen the resilience of communities to the environmental and economic challenges. So, but while we were on this, because I was actually still discussing this with my team lead, one of my team members this morning, and one of the things they were saying is because I know when my team lead submitted the project, then the feedback we got was how can we that can we be specific to see how we can have it in three communities rather than just being broad, because according to the project, we're looking at having it across continents. And you mentioned about Asia, Africa, and the likes. And the feedback we got was we should streamline it to just three communities. And also, that was part of the conversation I was having with one of my team members too. That if we can have the project streamlined and make it more more smaller, not just because of the project alone, but not because of the project alone, but also if we make it very broad, we might have issues with regards to funding. But if we make it a little bit, if we make it smaller and more streamlined, and that way we are more proactive and cost efficient. So, and that way too, we can have a project that we can replicate in each country, each member country. So, let's say I'm from Nigeria, I can uh, I can implement in my own country, and my colleague from Cameroon and Kenya and the likes, they too can also replicate as well. So that's what we are trying to work on, and that's the reason why I said by the next time we are meeting, most of all these conversations would have been carried out. And I've also started communicating with members of the group to see how we can have a virtual platform to come together and discuss most of the things around the document and see how we can come up with a final document and begin to put actions into words as well.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. You've really upped the game. I didn't expect that from you because I just asked you this morning to take charge of the group. So thank you so much. The next group I will invite is group 3 by Sumit Ghosh. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Because on behalf of Group 3, greetings to the experts, all the team members of ICARE, and all my fellow ambassadors. Now, we as a group, we are not treating this as a project. We are not treating these things as one of the engagement. Rather, we are taking this particular things for the next 6 months. It's our commitment. So I was just hearing in the last two presentations the challenges that is there in terms of the different time zones. I thought that I should share one particular things which can really change our mindset. First of all, we must think ourselves fortunate enough to be a part of an international project team member and getting exposed into that kind of an project handling. Whenever somebody will think about the challenges in terms of different time zones, just think about you yourself has been placed in one of the time zone of the world, and your immediate family member, maybe your spouse or maybe your kids, are just studying or working into the other time zone of the world. And how do we manage and the digitization has given us that kind of a freedom. So this is just a piece of advice. I think I am not offending anybody. So this the thought it came to my mind. So I thought that yes, I must share, because in the project there will be the challenges, but we should have the right kind of a mindset to face those challenges. Now, as far as our group is concerned, we are having the representation. I myself is from India. We have the representation from Cameroon, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Bangladesh, and Nigeria. So just allow me to share my screen so that I can just brief about our project. So I just need a confirmation. I think my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So we are group. So we are group 3, and we have collectively decided that we are going to work on emerging trends, theories, and technologies for sustainable development. As you can see in my slides, these are our team members. Though Shariful, all of a sudden, he was earlier planned to present on our behalf, but due to some of his personal issues, he was not been able to present these things. So, as a captain of the ship, I am presenting to all of you on behalf of my group. So, as we all know, that sustainable development stands as a paramount global goal, necessitating continuous exploration of emerging trends, theories, and technologies. We have first developed the concept note, which outlines a comprehensive research endeavor aimed at understanding and harnessing this advancement for a sustainable future. The project goal is we are going to identify emerging trends, that is, by conducting thorough research to pinpoint the latest trends in sustainable development, focusing on practices that have shown promise in promoting environmental, economic, and social sustainability. The another goal is we are going to evaluate and integrate theories, analyze current and emerging theories related to sustainability, integrating them into practical frameworks that can be applied across different sectors. The other objective is highlighting the innovative technologies. We are going to identify and evaluate cutting edge technologies that support sustainable development, emphasizing their benefits and potential for broad adoption. And finally, going to foster a culture of sustainability. So, our project will try to promote continuous learning and development in sustainability practices within organizations and communities, encouraging long term commitment to sustainable development. So, the target groups or communities we have chosen is corporate organizations, educational institutions, government agencies, non-profit organizations, community groups, and obviously the industry professionals. What this particular project is going to deliver, we are going to do a research report on policy recommendation, business guideline, and civil society participation. Our ultimate objective is not just to publish a white paper, which is going to, the ultimate fate of that white paper should not be into a scholastic cold storage. Rather, we want that with the help of our research report, there has to be some effort for policy recommendation, because that white paper is meant for that purposes only. We are even going to, will be trying to develop certain business guideline, which is going to really, really disrupt the current way or the style that particular industry or the business is being done. And obviously, the key uh, instrument or the stakeholders we will be really, really impacting is civil society participation. So this research endeavor aims to contribute to the ongoing discourse on sustainable development by elucidating the role of emerging trends, theories, and technologies in shaping our collective future. So end objective is public white paper, but that is not the end. That is going to be the beginning of the next chapter. We as a project team will definitely ensure that this particular white paper is not to be only the part of another journal, another paper, or another policy documents. Rather, it should be an implementable things. The first phase, we have already done the survey, the basic data collection. We are just processing those informations from the different stakeholders in terms of countries. We could have taken the sample from 11 different countries. Some are of a very big countries with a big GDP, and some are very, very small countries. So the different type of an economies and the size of the economies we have taken. So we are processing that, and then after processing that particular collected data, we are going to decide the next phase, that how we are going to get the real-time implementation or the practices what has been happening, so that we are going to do it into the phase 2. So this is all about our project, and thank you for patience listening. And I would definitely appreciate from the experts as well as from my fellow ambassadors that if anybody wants to give any kind of an input, I think the purpose of this forum will be really, really delivered. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sumit. I must mention that this is one of the groups that have really developed their synergy as a team. And I want also to commend the leader in terms of his upfront proactiveness in terms of leading the group and guiding the group into what they're supposed to be doing. So we really appreciate you, and we are really excited to see what you guys come up with in the end in terms of the white paper and also in terms of the next steps after the white paper. So having said those few words, I would like to now take the floor to the coaches and the mentors to be able to give us their reaction, initial reaction. I also sent you some questions to your email. I don't know if you guys were able to see some of those questions in your email. You could probably, once you get an opportunity, to probably try to answer a few questions from the list. I know the questions were so many. You can try to generalize your answer in trying to answer the questions from the team. So the first coach I will allow to speak is Gabby. You're welcome, Gabby.
Yes, hello. Well, thank you for asking, and thanks everyone for the great input. I think it's really good that you're all approaching it this way. I think it looks as a very structured approach, and working all over the world internationally is a big challenge anyway. So I think that's already very good to see that you are doing and you are approaching it very well. So compliments to that. When I think about all three of your projects, my advice would be to start small, because if you think about the fact that you're in an environment that's all people that are offering their support without any payment or so there are no goals and no strong objectives for everyone to join. So it's always hard to really get results there. It's all international with different cultures, different time zones. And looking at all of that, my advice would be try to start with a very measurable, smart goal. So make it smart, make it measurable. Just for instance, start with a pilot for one country. Because if you, I hear a lot about you on multiple countries, multiple regions, multiple areas that you want to solve and you want to work on. I think it's good as a first step, try to limit it in the 6 months, only 6 months that you have to, for instance, do one practical pilot and make that a very clear, measurable goal, so that in the end you will have a result. Because it's always more frustrating to have a lot done, but still nothing concrete. And once you have done a pilot, you can then expand that over different countries or different regions or different topics. So that's one of the main advice I would have. And the second one, and I think that's also a little bit for everyone, is think about your audience. So who is going to use your product? So if you have a service or a document or a white paper or anything you have, think about who is the person that will really start working with it, and try to also test that. So make sure that that you have already someone as your final audience that will receive the outcome of your project, and that will really work with you to see if it's applicable to them. Because if you have so many different groups that you can push it to, then the question is always who is really going to work with it. So I think make that very specific, which will help you also to make it more smart for everyone. And I think those two are my main objectives. But for the rest, I think it's a great achievement. I think it's good that you're all here and you're all very active on supporting this. So that's my compliment from my side.
Thank you so much, Gabi, for those wise words. I'm going to go very quickly to Dr. Yanis.
Hello. First of all, dear Sami, can you stop sharing? Because I think it takes a lot of bundles. At least on my screen still is your presentation. I don't know if it's only me. So, Caroline, congratulations, because you really set up something very, very commendable. And the presentation so far show that people have their hearts behind it, and that's very important. I will reverberate what Gabi just said. Let's start small. Let's extend our feet to where our blanket is, okay? Let's really understand the dimensions of our intervention. Anything we do depends on the resources we have. And resources are people, collecting data, and of course, money to support that work. So let's try to keep our goals realistic in the terms of being achievable. The first presentation of group 2, I think, I did not know there was actually people from Mexico, but it seems that it's only one person from Mexico. It's really great that you've extended outside the African continent. Of course, the time zone difference will always be there. That you cannot really resolve that. So maybe you can create teams in continents, and then the team leaders can sort of bring in the wisdom of the groups in a global meeting, but keeping them as they are now, you will always have those challenges. If you can overcome them by somebody staying awake late, that's your lookout. Also, the first group talked about mitigation, climate mitigation. I think climate mitigation is beyond our reach. It's beyond the reach of even bigger countries, even the whole community, because we cannot really stop at this stage what's happening. Adaptation and resilience should be our targets. We cannot really mitigate climate change at this stage. So we should really target the things we can do. I was really impressed with the work the third group carried out. But a white paper, who are we targeting? Who is going really to use our white paper or your white paper at this stage? It's really amazing work, but do we have the resources? Or let's say again, do you have the resources to back up the preparation of a white paper? And who is going to really make use of it? A white paper is, it's something you're targeting policy intervention at national or regional or even continental level. Who is going to use that white paper? And in 6 months, I think the target is commendable, the vision is great, but is it realistic, dear Summit? And I would like to hear your response to that. I'm really very happily surprised that this thing is happening. Caroline, this is a reflection on your work, and congratulations once again. It's a great initiative, but I think keeping it small, as Gabi said, keeping it realistic is what will get us to achieve whatever visions we set out. We have to be realistic. We have to see what we can do. Okay? I think I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. Is there someone from Group 3 who would like to respond to Dr. Yanni's quick concern or question? Sorry.
Only I am present. So I do agree. Yes.
I've seen Ancelotti and Shelmith join. But you can give your thoughts, and then probably if they are there, they can also.
Shelmith joined at the beginning. I don't know. Shelmith, are you there?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, Doctor, I mean, it's really nice, and Gabby, both of you, I mean, I have already noted down. Yes, I do agree that the task is too big and the time is short, and the span of control is also very, very diversified, and certain things are out of our control. Now, the purpose behind this particular white paper, it particularly came from the entire, after doing the brainstorming with all the team members. So it came, but as you have rightly said, that who is going to, because mainly the white papers are meant for the policymakers. Now, there I have a little bit of an advantage because of I've been the founder of a social enterprise since last 3 years, and with my past corporate experience of 3 decades. So there I can really do, I mean, at least I can try to, but yes, what you have said, I have just noted down. Along with that, or rather, if we can have some implementable project, even what Gabby said, that if we can have into one particular country out of whatever the countries, the 10 countries we are having. So if we can impact that things, I think that will be much more relatable. So I will definitely keep these things in mind. As a team, we will huddle again, and we will definitely come back to you. Thank you for all the inputs.
Thank you so much. Anyone else with a reaction? I don't know if Engineer Nawal is here. I'm seeing a lot of guest users. I don't know if she was able to make it. Nawal, are you there? Stella, are you there? Also, Stella had said her apologies. I don't know if she was able to make it. She wasn't very sure if she'll make it. she was trying to work against some timelines at her workplace. So I don't know if Stella, you're here very quickly before we get to any other person who is ready to jump in. I think they are not here. So in that case, I'm going to allow the floor for a Q&A session very quickly. We have a few minutes. We have about 15 minutes to go. So Q&A session, you have a very quick burning question you want to ask, apart from the questions that you sent or among the questions that you sent and you feel that they were not comprehensively answered. This is your session to jump in and ask. So take it away.
Can I, Caroline?
Yes, go ahead, please.
It's not a question. This the answers to the questions you send us, because you said about whether we looked at them. Or somebody wants to ask a question, so I will yield the floor and I will come back on that one.
Okay, we have someone, guest user. I don't know who you are. Kindly jump in. You have raised your hand.
Well, let me quickly say what I had to say, and if the guy or the girl understands and comes back, we'll give him the floor. So, the economic implications of transition to renewable energy in terms of job creation and industrial growth. This is really a very straightforward question with a very straightforward answer. It's positive, positive, positive. There's nothing negative about it. Maybe there is one question to be answered: what do you do with the people who work in the fossil fuel industry? How do you replace? How do you transition the workforce to a cleaner work environment? That's difficult. That affects the communities as well. This is something that should have happened some years ago, not now. It should have happened already. It's not happening. That's why we have already reached 1.5 degrees. But this is really what the question of what will happen in the future. How do you transit all those people working in the fossil fuel industry to the cleaner industry? But this, of course, it is not a question that's answered in one sentence. We can have a session on that with diagrams and numbers and discuss it in detail. The second question is about your white paper. Actually, I was wondering how the white paper was, what the question meant, but now I understand it was referring to your white paper. I think I gave you my thoughts on that. It's a great work, Summit. It's really a great work, but really whether we can really, it can be useful. I mean, Kenya has a white paper. How do you persuade Kenya to use your white paper? I wish you could, because Kenya's white paper says that they're going to use fossil gas, they're going to use coal, and there is a nuclear station there, which is total rubbish. But, no. And the third question, I think it refers to your paper as well, how you can make it implementable. I think this is really what we'll be discussing about. If we make it more realistic and within our capabilities. I'll stop here.
Thank you. So do we have the guest user who raised your hand, join in and ask your question very quickly? Are you there? Any other person with a quick rejoinder?
Let me ask a few questions from my team, because we were able to consolidate quite a number of questions. One of the key things that was coming from members is what kind of support, apart from the just training needs, is there like any other support that we can be able to get from you in terms of implementing this work, apart from that, because what we have seen so far is the training, but people wanted to know, is there any other thing that we can be able to get support from your side to be able to implement this work, or how can we take this work forward if there is no any other support? And then the other thing in my team is about, although this is still an early stage, but people want to know, how do we measure our impact? Because for us, it's a storytelling database. And we would want to know in the near future, when we have started implementing, how would we know the impact that this is creating? What kind of tools, or how will we be able to measure the impact of our database moving forward? But although this is still early stage, but we can be able to explore that later on.
Thank you, Edith. You want to jump on that, Gabby?
Well, especially on the, if you look at the second question to start with, I think it's related to also your objectives. So what is it that you want to achieve? Who should be using your database and who has access to it? So I think that's where you can start measuring success, is defining the usage, and you will see it's hard to define the success of someone that sees a database, that sees one of your videos on how to change or how to implement something. What is the direct impact of that? But you do, if you really bring it higher to a higher level of measurement, you can say, so how many people have seen the video, how many people have logged into the database, which videos were most popular, which were most shared. From that perspective, I think you can start measuring as a first step. And then, of course, related to that, try to build in feedback loops on if you know that certain users have used it, and if you know who used and saw the videos, that you also go back for feedback or for lessons learned, or build it into some kind of community where you will start discussing certain ways of taking action. So I think from my perspective, that's my thought around that. I don't know, Jannis, if you have anything else to add to that.
I quite agree, of course. There are KPIs. These days, with the digital support we have, it's very easy to measure the extent of our intervention. That's the easy part. The thing is to make it really supportive, creative, productive, useful. And I think that the way you're thinking about it, I'm quite sure it can become that. I think the first question is way more important. And that's my question to Caroline as well. All that, everything that's being discussed and everything that will be discussed, the platform we are building on it is funding. Where is the money going to come from to create, to take this forward, to take this to a higher level, to have the white paper, even if it's not so white, maybe it's a little yellow, but even any paper that they produce. We need money for that. They need money for that. So this is something I don't even know, Caroline. So maybe you or maybe Gabby knows the answer to that, but I don't. I think it's the most important question. And if we don't have the money, let's find ways to bring in money. I think this should be a goal as well. Maybe we should set up a separate team to really target funding, not financing, funding.
Okay. So guest user, before I jump in very quickly, guest user, you've raised your hand. Can you say something?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon from Ghana. This is Emmanuel Abazami.
Okay.
Well, we have been talking about the issue of resources and all that. And for me, being a member of Group 3, I I want to find out from our mentors, would they recommend, particularly for our topic, would they recommend a systematic review or a scoping review for us in order to facilitate the pace of the work, instead of really going to gather data, but rather more to place or to concentrate on the existing data, published papers and reports around, for us to draw conclusions on emerging trends, theories, and technologies for sustainable development? Thank you.
I will answer last on my question. So if Dr. Yanis, you want to jump in?
Yes, I think I can answer this one. It's a very important question that is the core of the work that Group 3 is doing. The long answer is I would like to have a call with Group 3 to discuss how they decided to do what they're doing. Do we need to rediscover the wheel? Maybe there is enough policy recommendations, publications, legislation there. Is the implementation that's missing? And the implementation depends on a number of items. Most important is funding, political will, and market resistance. Nothing to do with finding technology. The technologies are all there already. So these things may be beyond a white paper. There are many white papers. I'm not putting it down, Samit, okay? I think actually you can do one that's very concise and say the things that have to be done. But for me, it's important to know what we're targeting and to our targets to be real. So I will be happy to have a call, and I'm sure Gabby would like that, to just discuss how this concept has begun, and I've already done work on that. Maybe we should really have a call on that. I'll be available. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I will plan individual calls with individual groups as per the need. So far the need is in Group 3. We will work out that with the leader and see what day is convenient for everyone. And then we can send in the invites for the call. So Group 2 and 1, whenever you're ready to also do your own individual calls with the mentors, kindly, you can also communicate the same. Now, in responding to the previous question that has been asked in terms of the support that more support that could be provided to the teams. Remember, our communication from the start has been to connect, to create, and to also cultivate. So in our communications, we've been very clear on that, and you guys have been able to connect. We are giving you the platform to do so, to be able to connect and to create something that is tangible based on your passions. And apart from that, we also communicated that when we were doing our orientation program, we also mentioned that some projects may need funding. And of course, basically all projects need funding. And that is the reason why we brought in teams with diverse skill sets and interests within the teams, the groups. This was to help you guys think through, we want to do this. How do we want to do this? And what resources do we need? Remember, in your first week, I was very clear on that in terms of defining your goals, and then your deliverables, and then the resources that you think you will need and how you will get these resources. That is a very important step in the initial phase. And we have team members who have expressed interest in terms of resource mobilization. We have team members who have expressed different interests within your team. If you can look at the document that I shared with you about the different team members, and then you can work within your team and say, this is our project. These are the goals that we want to work on, and these are the resources that we need to work on, and then together brainstorm how do we get these resources. ICARE will always be there to support you guys in terms of giving you the platform. In case you need to probably do a grant writing, we are here to also be a partner with you, an implementing partner. We can also together source for resources together to be able to implement that. I don't know if I've answered your question. That is the best we can do for now.
Okay, thank you, Carol. I understand. It's only because, like for me, I wasn't even present during the first meetings, and we also have people who have joined our team from like in between. So that question kept coming up in terms of, yes, there is the platform, but then if we want to make a real impact, is there like, let me just say, financial support that will come from ICARE? But what I'm getting is that we could work around that in terms of like looking into how we can get that in as teams, not really as ICARE, or I don't know whether I'm getting it well, that we need to find out how we get resources as teams. And then maybe if we need like help, maybe you can be able to come in, because I need to report this to the team, and I need to get a good understanding on that.
Yes, I think that is the position. We, as ICARE, we don't have any finances that we can say that we have that is set to give to the teams. So what we are giving you is the platform. Yes, Doctor?
I would ask, if possible, for you, with your leadership, Caroline, to create a promotional material, very short, to hand it over to the mentors or anybody else, so that I can try to reach out for funding.
Thank you so much.
We cannot move forward without funding. We cannot. We need funding. So we have to find a way to bring funding in. I hope somebody in the group is artistically oriented, so we can prepare a nice promotion leaflet. Nothing much, just to state what we're trying to do. Keep it real, keep it visionary, and I will do my best. So let's try and do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. We will work with the teams and see what kind of promotional materials we can come up with. Any other comment? We are late by 5 minutes, so we should be closing now. But if you have a very burning comment, question, you're free to ask very quickly. If not, we can call it a day. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate this session, and it was really productive. It really met the goal of the program. So we want to thank you, everyone, for your efforts, everything that you're putting in to make sure that this program is successful. Thank you so much, and
thank you, Caroline. Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.